Welcome to Country Kickback, where you'll hear the latest music from performers you already know and discover new music and artists from around the world. If you have an artist you'd like us to chat with, reach out to the team at countrykickback.com, or you can watch our live videos and more by following us on social media and YouTube. Here is your host, Danni Shaw, with the latest from Country Kickback.
Hello. Thursday. It's Thursday. I know I said I'd be back last night, but a few things changed, as they often do. Hope you guys have had a good week. It's gone really quickly for me. I don't know whether it's the same for you. I know there's a fair few off to Keith Urban tonight and a few other gigs around. So let us know in the comments where you are and what you're watching. We've got two shows for you tonight. We've got Ben Walker is going to join us in a moment, and we've got Ella and Sienna at 7 o'clock as well. So if you're around, please stay with us for both. But if you can't, you can always watch it on the replay. So let us know what you're watching and where you are watching from in the comments, even if it's a record, because we can still see them and we'll still get the message. Well, we might welcome Ben into the room. Hello.
Hey, Danni, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, really well. Oh,
you're looking, it's gone so quick, the time that I've seen you, but yet it hasn't as well. I know that sounds weird, but it's just time's been odd at the moment. This last few years.
Absolutely. It's I remember looking back and we were talking about Tamworth in January, and well, that didn't happen. And so then, fit of sulk, I went into the studio and recorded some stuff, and that's actually where Tears Flow came from. And then it's just been a manic year.
It has.
I get you.
It's been crazy, and it's nearly finished, and I don't know how. Amanda has popped in and said hi.
Oh, hi. I met Amanda at Hats Off in July, and I had to go over and talk to her because she had these amazing pink cowboy boots on. I went and talked to her about those, and we got chatting about my music.
Oh, wow. And we were just talking about Hats Off a moment before we went live. It's a different feeling, isn't it? And it's a festival that's different again in Tamworth.
Absolutely, yeah, that's exactly right. Look, it was my first Hats Off. And what a lot of people said was because it ended up being very close to the Tamworth Festival.
Yes,
so many artists or the bigger artists weren't able to come, or they had other things going on, or at the time everyone was just battling for shows, right, wherever they could get them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so it was probably more sort of intimate. It was great for me because I got some opportunities which I don't think I necessarily otherwise would have got at my first Hats Off. And that experience of it's great when people come along to your shows, and it's great when they want to talk to you about the music. When the same people sort of follow you around the festival to a few different places, and they want to talk to you when they bump into you in the pub, that's just amazing. I hadn't experienced that before, and it was really lovely. And so
it knows that you know then that your music is getting out to people, don't you? And that people are responding to what you're doing, which is really lovely. And Amanda also said that Hats Off was great fun. Amanda, do you go to the big festival? Are you heading there in January, this coming January?
Yeah, I'm going to Tamworth in January. I'm really fortunate. I'm going to be hosting one of the smaller stages, the Kmart stage in Tamworth Square Shopping Centre. So I'll get to introduce all the up and coming talent, which I'm really looking forward to. I'll play a few times there, and then I've got about 12 shows of my own. We're playing in a local Italian restaurant a couple of times. We'll be at the Riverside stage. We'll be at the Oasis pub. We're all over. Additionally, a couple of months ago, I got the opportunity to do a co-write with Beth Lucas, Stephen Dobson, and Alan Caswell. And Alan really loved the song we came up with, and he's invited us to perform that at his I Wrote a Song with Alan Caswell event in Tamworth. So that'll be a really big deal for us. I'm really looking forward to that.
What day is that one in Tamworth this year?
That is on the Wednesday. That's on the Wednesday evening. Yeah,
evening.
We'll be on quite early. I think it starts at 7:30. I've got another show about 9:30, so I'll be on reasonably early. And that's a really special song. It's called "I Won't Forget," and it came about because, unfortunately, earlier in the year, my mum was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and that idea of whatever else you forget, don't forget that I love you. And Beth and Stephen and Alan, not only did they love the idea of the song, but it was just awesome riding with all three of them. You go to places in a co-write you might not otherwise go, and Alan's so skilled that I think we've produced a pretty good song, so I'm excited about it.
That is actually really exciting. I can't wait. I will definitely be getting a ticket to that show, and I will definitely be there. I can't wait to hear the song. Ryan has just popped in and said that he was at Keith Urban at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre on the Saturday. I was at that show too, Ryan. Did you enjoy it? Let me know what you think. Have you seen Keith this time round, Ben? Have you been to see him?
I haven't. My parents are actually visiting at the moment. And when they first got here, I was up at the Dag Sheep Station in Nundle doing 4 days of co-writing with Luke O'Shea, Ashley Dallas, and a whole set of other people, Kevin Bennett. And so I felt guilty about that. So I rushed home, and then I've had various other things going on, shows and whatnot. And so I had to draw the line somewhere, and it was drawn at Keith Urban.
I can't see. Yes, you were. Yeah, sorry, Ryan. I can't see all of your comments coming through. If I missed one, can you let me know? Because they've just gone all silly. I'm so sorry to stop you, Ben. I know that there was one that I don't know. It might be on everybody else's screen, but it's not. And my screen's playing up. I don't know how you guys do all these songwrites and always come out with such amazing songs. And the Dag Sheep Station, how many songs have there been come out of that place? What a beautiful venue.
It's a magical place, and some wonderful rights there. One that was particularly spectacular is I was actually waiting to do a co-write with Kelly Bruhaha, and she got caught up doing something else. And I was sat in the shade, just playing around on my guitar, and I had a first line and a little bit of a riff. I'm probably overselling it to say it was a riff. And Luke O'Shea came along and sat down and said, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I explained. And he sat and listened to me for about 5 minutes, and then said, "Oh, could I take the guitar off you?" And so he took the guitar, and he started with my first line, and he added a line. And then Brendan Smoother was also there, and he added a line. And within 20 minutes, we had the song. And that
20 minutes,
20 minutes, whole song. And that was just awesome. But lots of other experiences like that as well. It just takes you out of your comfort zone. And I was saying to someone earlier that Tears Flow, I wrote pretty much on my own. Some help from a songwriting coach I work with sometimes, Julia Michaels. In fact, quite a lot of help from Julia. But it wasn't really a co-write as such. It was me driving it. Whereas the co-writes, you can sort of, if you're aware of where you might not be quite so strong, and you're open to trying anything, you can actually really expand, because I tend to write quite poetically. Alan Caswell certainly doesn't. It's all about using language people would talk in. And so being open to that, I've learned a lot from that. And then up at the Dag, I wrote one song with a guy, Andrew Blythe, and he tends to write more sort of upbeat, rocky stuff than me. And so being open to that, I've got a song out of that I probably never would have written otherwise. So it's really
Isn't it funny how it opens your eyes to so many different styles that you probably don't even realize that are there when you.
Spot on, absolutely spot on. And Julia Michaels said to me once, there is only one rule with co-writing, and that is you never open. Well, actually, two rules. She said you never open with no, and you must try every idea.
That's fair. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you do that, then actually you explore things that perhaps otherwise you wouldn't yourself without being closed off to them. So it's great.
What a good way of putting it, actually. I love that. Scott is watching on his drive home tonight. I hope you're driving safe, and I hope you don't have to be too long in the car, Scott. And Amanda has just popped in and she said she loves Tears Flow. She said she couldn't write a song to save my life, but love listening. I agree, Amanda. It's a beautiful song. Tell us a little bit, like you were just saying, you wrote this one, but with a bit of guidance. Do you think that was it harder doing that, or did you think it, like with your song you were just telling us about at the DAG, 20 minutes you had a song and it was that quick? Does it take you a lot longer when you're doing that sort of thing by yourself?
Well, not necessarily. I've had the experience of going, I've got an idea and the song comes together. Maybe not in 20 minutes. Yeah, certainly under an hour. But in this case, this was a strange one. It started off, I was studying a music degree at AIM, and I was doing a songwriting class there. And so it was about using certain techniques. And then I got this song and I was happy with bits of it, not happy with other bits of it. And that's when I went to Julia and we looked at it. And she took me all the way back to, well, what are you really trying to say? And generally what I do when I write, if I'm writing on my own, I'll start with 5 to 10 minutes of free writing. So what's the topic? And then every idea on that topic goes down on the paper. And then I go from there. And so we went all the way back to that. But where Julia is amazing is melody. And at the time, my songs, my melodies, not some nice melodies, but they had a habit of repeating a bit. And so I really have to give Julia credit for the chorus. And it's probably the bit of the song people like most because it goes into a different rhythm and the melody really lifts. And so that was where we spent probably more of the effort. The words were pretty easy for me, but that was where we spent a bit more of the effort. And I'm pleased we did because I think it works.
Isn't it funny how, sometimes it just rolls out and it like with that person just giving you those few tips, it just changes the entire song, doesn't it? Like how it comes out. But, I love that. I love that. That's the magic of song, and it's the magic of like we have some amazing songwriters in the country, and as you were just saying, they all are so different. I love those bits. I can't see all that. Has that come up on your screen? Can you see that, Ben?
Yes, I can.
Ryan... I can see half of it and then it stops, and I know that it's something going on with my screen. I was hoping yours was working.
He does. Ryan does trailer ads for a friend. He's released 13 singles on one album. Wow. Artist from Brisbane.
Wow.
Nice work, Ryan.
That sounds like lots of fun, Ryan. Do you enjoy it? Let us know. So Ben, you're Tears Flow and you're heading to Tamworth, but have you got anything left between now and Christmas, or do you actually get a bit of time off before you hit it big? Because as you're saying, in Tamworth you're crazily busy.
So I did at the moment the last live show I think last Friday, that was at Sappho's Bar in Glebe. I've been asked tentatively to do some Christmas stuff, but we'll see what happens there. So technically now I've got some time to do some writing. The other big thing last weekend, I went into the studio and recorded 2 more songs. So the one that I wrote with Alan, Beth, and Stephen, and one other. So now is a little bit of downtime. hopefully a bit of writing, a few more things I want to play with on the guitar, just to make the live show to a little bit new and fresh for Tamworth. And then, other than my day job, bit of a break, and then Tamworth, say 12 shows, stage most days, introducing folk. I think it's going to be fairly busy.
It's going to be exhausting. I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't know how any of you do Tamworth. It is amazing how much that you can cram into 10 days. It's just, we just do it, don't we?
But it's, I think I'm really fortunate that the stage I'm going to be working at most of the time is in the air conditioning of the shopping centre. So yeah, I can't complain. To those folks who busk out on Peel Street in the heat, my goodness, they're the heroes.
I don't envy them one little bit, but you know, it's just something about it. People just seem to enjoy it, and it's almost like they just ignore the heat because they're having too much fun, and they're just
yeah, and some of the stories, you know, the folks who've done that, and then now they're on the main stage, and well, Keith Urban started busking
exactly.
on Peel Street, right?
He certainly did. Yep. Actually, it'd be really interesting for you to, as you the people that you're introducing on stage in Tamworth, it'd be interesting for you finding out how many of those started out Peel Street busking and now got to that level. It'd be really interesting.
I ended up, I did one day comparing the stage last year, just at the last moment, and Cheyenne Irwin was on the stage that day, and she's now part of the senior academy this time around, and so it's really nice to see people doing that stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's lovely, isn't it? There's so much. We've seen a lot of growth. Even with COVID, I think it's just one of those things that I don't know if we've had more time to watch artists and see the growth sort of follow people along a bit closer, or it's just the industry's just changed so much that we move quickly through it. But yeah, Cheyenne, when we've had her on the show before, and it's the same thing. It's just incredible how much everyone's growing. I love it.
Really cool.
I think that's my favorite part about watching people's careers and listening to music as you all evolve. But what sounds like over Christmas, you might get a little bit of time to spend on that piano behind you in that lovely house that we borrowed last time as well.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, after Tamworth next year, what have you got more plans after that? What are you going to? Have you got more? You're going to release these songs that you've recorded, and you're going to sort of try and hit the road. What are you thinking, sort of partway through the year?
Yeah, it's a really good question.
It's hard, isn't it? Though?
I have this silly idea. I grew up in the UK in the 80s, 90s, when the album was a real thing.
Yes.
And everybody I speak to says, do not produce an album. There's no point. You don't get the value for money out of it, etc., etc., etc. That idea of putting a whole story together and a whole set of songs, I've kind of I've got a fair amount of material that would sit nicely on an album. So there's a little part of me that's gone, and also now working as a duo for most of this year. So Frank Virgo, who came up to Tamworth with me at the last moment in April, and we've worked together ever since. And he and I have done some writing together as well. So he's really experienced. He actually wrote some of the music for Play School, believe it or not, many years ago. So we've got lots of material. So do we do something like that? Or I think I said to you last time, I wanted to get to the point where I was gigging reasonably regularly in Sydney. Do we try and build that into slightly bigger venues? The on the road, probably not. I think I'm not sure my wife and kids would love that idea too much. But certainly sort of just trying to get my music out to a few more people, and hopefully get invited to a few different places to perform beyond Sydney. That's probably the next thing.
Amazing. Yeah, it's always lovely to hear everybody's goals. It's funny how we have such different goals, and then like sort of been that long since you and I spoke, to see where you've been in that time, and have you got to some of those points that you were aiming for. And I think this time you definitely have gotten to exactly where you wanted to go from our last conversation.
No, that's right. It's I was saying that exact same thing to someone earlier today, that I set a set of goals and I hit them. So it's a great question, because now's the time to sort of reset.
Now you've got to get ready to raise the bar again and go that next step. How do your wife and kids still, like, do they try and get to shows when they can? Is it hard on them? Because even with playing locally, you're still out a lot, aren't you? Weekends, and then you got practice and.
And I think last time we focused on that story a bit, right? So the reason I'm doing my music is because of my wife, and she's so supportive. The kids love coming to the gigs. They're my biggest fans, I think. But it is a balance. Some of the places I play, they are easier for them to go to than others. Certainly, they love Tamworth. Purposely got a house sort of nearer the town centre, so they can get some relief from the heat when they want to. But they're really into the music. Charlie, my eldest, turns 9 in January. He loves playing the drums. He's a good little drummer, so he enjoys sort of watching different acts, especially the full bands. Harry's 6, and he just likes making noise.
I love that. I think that's part of it, isn't it? It's, that Amanda said she got to have a little chat with your kids at Hats Off.
I think it was quite one way. I think they were doing a lot of the talking and Amanda was doing it. But yes, that was really cool.
But showing interest in the noise and the making and that sort of thing, it's where it starts, isn't it? Like, a really good example, Keith Urban on the weekend, he was on the stage, and then he's tapping the mic, he's tapping the guitar, he's making sounds and turning them into actually something. And that's how we all start. If you start young like that, it's creative, isn't it?
Well, when I was little, I would never have had the idea of sitting around, using my time to write some lyrics or come up with a tune. And yet my sons see me doing that, and they'll try and emulate a little bit. And whatever they end up doing, if that's just broadening the mind, that actually there's a whole other set of things that you can do in life. And so they feel they have choice. That's all I want. We're so lucky living where we live. Many people in the world don't have as many choices, and if you do, it's important that you realise that and you capitalise on them.
Exactly. Right. I can see this one. It's come back. It's good. He said that you're a bit cheeky. He was a bit cheeky, that Keith. I mean, yes, he is, isn't he? He's very comfortable on that stage, and he will just give anything a go. And I think that's beautiful. Part of it. Wow. Yeah. You have to go next time, Ben, because you will love it.
Well, I've my friend reached out the other day to say one of our mates had dropped out, and there was it was a spare ticket for February to go and see the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes.
And I've always wanted to see them live. So they're in Sydney at the start of February. So I'm looking forward to that.
You have to send us some pictures from that one. That will be amazing. I want to go to that one too.
Yeah.
Please send us some videos and some photos.
Yeah,
Let us live.
Will do.
Now, where can we get at the moment Tears Flow? Is the best place for people to stream? Is there any particular ones that you prefer people to use?
No preference. Whatever works for everybody. It's on all the streaming platforms. It is on Bandcamp. People want to buy the song. That gives me a bit more support. But equally, it's whatever works for everybody.
Actually, I'll have to get the link for Bandcamp to pop in the comments, because I have put in the comments one for your Spotify and that sort of thing. But it'd be great to be able to pop the Bandcamp one in there for everyone to be able to click on as well.
No problem. I'll give you that. And also, there's been, for this song in particular, there's been a couple of really, really nice articles written on the song as well. So I'll do those links as well.
Definitely, that would be lovely. Now, everybody, I know that we are sorry we have to stop and head off from this interview, but when we're finished here, make sure you pop up to the comments and hit onto all the platforms that you can and follow Ben, as well as subscribe if there's an option to subscribe, because then at least you'll get the notifications when more music comes out. And that helps you guys the most, doesn't it? When people press that they like the song or subscribe or purchase, it makes a big difference. So
and if anyone's heading to Tamworth, then come and say hi. I'd love to
yes, I'm exactly the same. And actually, we were just talking before the show. We're going to try and set up a time for us to do a live chat together in person, which will be fantastic. So you'll be able to come along and say hello when we're doing that as well. But I hope that you have a lovely Christmas and your family have a lovely Christmas this year, Ben. And Brian has also said the same thing at the same time.
And you and to everyone, have a good Christmas.
Yes, everybody. Amanda's going to be in Tamworth. You have to bring those pink boots. I want to see those pink boots, Amanda. That's what I'm looking forward to. I love boots, and I've only got a couple of pairs because I can't wear big heels or anything, but I've seen some amazing boots in Tamworth. Lots of fun. Well, Ben, thank you so much for spending the time with us. Before we go, though, on socials, what's your socials for Facebook? Do you and Instagram? Is it just Ben Walker?
Ben Walker-music on Facebook. I think you can get me on Instagram with that as well. If not, the full handle is Ben Walker Music Official. And the website is benwalkermusic.org.
Lovely. So make sure you have a look at all of those. And Amanda says she has 5 pairs of boots. Oh, my goodness. I'm jealous. Wow. Yes. No, thank you so much, Ben. It was lovely to have you again. I can't wait to see you in person in Tamworth, which is only like 25 or something days away, I was told. So it's very quickly coming.
Well, thank you again. Cheers.
Anytime. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you again in a few minutes. You've got just enough time to whiz over and follow Ben and like all of his music before the next show. We'll see you all shortly.